Hello, everybody, and welcome back to where Brad warned Paul daily, and he refused to listen or heed the advice of what was coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're gonna flash back, folks, to 24 hours ago, roughly. We had a team meeting, and I said, "Hey, it's gonna snow here on Sunday," and Paul said, "Hey, I'm driving to Boston." And I said, "Hey, you usually get the snow about 24 hours after I do." And then Paul's now in Boston, as you can see. And Paul, what's your concern for the moment?
Oh, let me read the headline. So when I left this morning, it was snowing where I live, and my daughter had a 2-hour delay. You know, possibly the 18th or 19th time that has happened this winter. And I just just got this alert on my phone right before this thing started, a weather alert thing. So I clicked on it, and it says, "Oh, they changed." That's funny. The headline changed since the last time I read it. I brought it up again. This time it says Bay State, which is Massachusetts, bracing for back-to-back snowstorms. Yeah.
If only you had some sort of early warning system.
Yeah, based on the map, I'm in a 4 to 6 inch zone, although it is right on the edge of the 6 to 8 inch zone. So I could, well, we're going to find out how good of a friend this guy is when I stay till Wednesday. Oh, boy.
Yeah, so obviously you made it to Boston. You're not in a ditch.
Right. Yeah, it was a long drive. It was 6 hours. I left a little early. I was going to leave at 7. I got up at 6. I had time. I'm like, screw it, I'll just leave, and the whole way, I'm like, I'm not going to make it. It was positive that I was going to be doing this from the car at some truck stop or something. And then I don't know what happened exactly. It cleared up eventually, like when I got to New York. And then I was diverted twice because of accidents, like off the highway. I didn't go over the Tappan Zee, which I believe for the first time since I moved to Pennsylvania, we haven't gone that way because of an accident on the Tappan Zee. Jesus, could this thing be louder? And then I don't know somewhere in Connecticut, all of a sudden, because you sit there, you know how it is. Like you travel, you do this backwards math always. Like what does this look like? And I'm doing the math on. I'm trying to turn off the sound on this thing. Sorry. I'm doing the math on when I'm going to arrive, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, I'm going to get there with like 20 minutes to spare, which is pretty good. So that ended up working out. I didn't get pulled over. There was lots of police on this trip too. Speed. Actually, here's something. Google warned me of a speed trap.
Wow.
Right. And after and it was there, and then it popped up another alert, and it said, "Is the speed trap still there?" It actually asked me to contribute.
And that's when you wrecked your car to try to tell.
Yeah, then I was like, yes, it is.
I can also now report an accident.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a feature of Google Maps?
There's not a whole lot going on this morning, although Mahedi just wrote up. If you're in the market for a Surface Pro 6, here's a relatively good deal. For $799, you can get the entry-level Surface Pro 6 and a type cover. If that's...
$799. Which entry level is that? Still a Core M kind of a thing, or is it a Core i5?
I'm clicking the link
because I feel like the Surface Pro 6. There's been a bundle that's been in the maybe it was $900.
No, but it was saying it's the 8th gen Core i5.
Yeah, I mean that's a good. You said $800.
Yeah,
that's a good config.
It is. You save 260 bananas. Actually, what you should do is PayPal me 130 for saving you 260, and then we all come out ahead.
Yeah. So it's $899 normally, and then the type cover is $160. Is probably how that works.
Yeah,
out.
The bundle's typically $1,060, and right now you can get it for $800.
That's great.
Yeah, and
that's a great machine. We're not talking about last gen parts anymore either, right? This is 8th gen. Seriously, I turned off the volume and it's still making sounds. Could you hear that?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
If only there was some sort of...
Well, right. So like everything from China, Brad, the feature is there. It's just in a slightly different place. And like, you don't use Android, but in Android, you can typically bring down the shade and do not disturb is one of the things.
Is that what that thing's called? A shade?
The notification shade is in Android. It is, and it is not there, but you can do it through settings. And I will just turn on do not disturb. There we go. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't think you are.
No, I don't want to hear it either. I can't stand. I don't know why that would ever. I don't need it to be that loud when I'm in the car.
The other bit of news, sort of tangibly related, is that Amazon is planning to open a grocery store chain separate from Whole Foods that is going to have lower cost.
Yeah, it's going to be processed foods.
Probably, yeah. Just like a normal grocery store.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I suppose there's a certain infrastructure they have with Whole Foods that they could easily expand on, and they'll share, trucks and infrastructure and so forth. So, okay. This is big business, apparently. They big enough for them to expand for some reason.
I mean, people got to eat. We dedicated a whole episode to food yesterday, and I don't know if you looked at the title, but all I titled it was "We Talk About Food for a While."
I did see your description was, we're warning you now if you don't want, you don't care about this.
This is the bread and butter.
It's in the description. That's true. I mean, actually, for Amazon and for any, it's like the subscription thing for Microsoft, right? Where you want to repeat customers. And if somebody buys a stereo or something or a phone, I mean, yeah, they might buy one again, but in 2, 4, or 5 years, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. They need food. We always need food. So, and Amazon certainly has developed certain efficiencies when it comes to delivering things to your house. So maybe this will be, maybe this will democratize. Oh no, I'm sorry, they're not delivering to your house. This is a supermarket.
Yeah, I mean,
well, they have certain efficiencies when it comes to delivering things that could still help them for bringing stuff to the store. So.
I think it was when Satya Nadella took over as CEO, they asked him what his Microsoft's most valuable asset was, and I think he said like the Office 365 API or something around APIs. If you ask that question about Amazon, I would absolutely say their logistics is their most valuable asset.
Yep, and they're just as cutthroat as anybody in this kind of position where. You know how the government works. I mean, the postal service is not driving around your neighborhood on President's Day, right? Because it's a holiday, like a federal holiday. But I'll tell you when they are driving around is on Sunday, when they don't deliver mail, but they have to deliver Amazon packages, right? And so you'll see U.S. postal trucks driving around at all hours of the day, on any day. And that's why. It's because of the power of Amazon. And that was a contract, they had gone after. And we'll no doubt someday lose, to UPS or FedEx or somebody who decides to go in with a better bid. But that's what it takes. They're really, really good at that.
Yep. And Microsoft just pushed out a new build of Windows 10 to the fastering 18348 or 19H1.
Okay.
And here's the big update for this one, Paul. It's Emoji 12.0.
Oh, the same thing that was in the skip ahead build yesterday or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say I thought this was already in there, but nothing says
there is
like emojis.
So that's not something I would ever notice because I don't care about emojis. Although I am about to do some kind of an Instagram thing where I believe emojis will be involved, so that will be entertaining for everybody. But I saw someone on Twitter, and I'm not making fun of this person, but I mean, this is a very common mindset. He sort of said something to the tune of, instead of spending your time working on something superfluous like emoji 12.0 or whatever.
Or Skype.
Well, okay, but, truly superfluous.
Yes.
How about improving the core apps like Mail or Calendar or Skype? Why would you spend your engineering time or your, whatever, working on something silly like that? And, I think the thing people need to remember, because I certainly fall into that trap as well, is it's not like the guys working on the Mail app have stopped work so they can go put emojis in Windows 10. These are completely different efforts, right? I mean, it's a different skill set. It's a different team. It's a different kind of thing. I mean, so the people who working on emojis could not improve Windows Mail or Calendar or Skype or whatever, right? And vice versa. So, Microsoft's a really big company, and it's like one of those restaurants, like you order food, and a good restaurant will bring all the plates out at the same time, but a bad restaurant will bring them out as they get done, right? Without any context about who else is at the table and what they ordered. And that's what Windows 10 apps are like. They just get updated when they're done. These things happen out of schedule of anything else. They're just all on their own schedule.
Yep.
And yes, I just did compare Windows 10 to a bad restaurant.
So this is going to be a weird segue, but it'll work. So I was taking a shower and I was looking through.
Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I was looking through the glass, and it was fogged up because, like most humans, I enjoy a warm shower.
Yep.
I was like, this kind of looks like Fluent, right? It's kind of got that masked whatever effect,
frosty look or whatever.
And then I started thinking, how old is Fluent? Fluent's about 2 years old, right? They launched it at Build, especially when Build, I think, used to be in March or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The very end of March into the very beginning of April. Yeah.
So we are 2 years into this, and they made a big deal about this design language.
Yep.
And it's nowhere.
I know. I thought you were going to say I thought you were going to say it was 5 years ago, right? Although I think the point is still the same, which is here we are years later, and it's just, there's a little bit over there, there's a little bit over there.
Yeah, it's,
yeah.
Like, I think we all had some big goals, or like it was great thinking that saying like, hey, Windows is going to look like this, Skype's going to look like this, Outlook's going to look like this, Office is going to have this design language, and it is.
Yeah, it's slow.
It's even. I don't even think slow is the right word. I mean, we're 2 years.
It's sporadic. Yeah, one wonders why they don't take the guys off of Emoji 12.0 and put them on Fluent.
Yeah.
Are the emojis ever going to be Fluent enabled? Do they get transparency or some kind of visual hierarchy, kind of a mouse over effect?
I don't know. It's just been weird that they made such a big deal about this. I think it's because Google's material design around that time was getting a lot of press, that they were doing all.
Well, yeah. I mean, yep. Speaking of Microsoft technologies that don't work, yeah. So I've often described material design as the logical successor to Metro, or what Microsoft's design language used to be called, because they've really run with it in a way that I don't feel that Microsoft has. And to be fair, I mean, they have rolled out material design over time as well, and to different products and things. And it seems like every week there's Gmail just went material design 2.0 or whatever it is, and they do that kind of stuff. But certainly better than Microsoft has done. Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but in the Thurrott Now thing on the front page, there is a link to I don't know if it's a Medium blog or whatever it is, but the Fluent team put up the most content-free celebratory blog post about all the progress they've made, and it is it's astonishing. Like, there is just nothing going on there.
Yeah. Speaking of nothing going on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just been. I mean, it's Friday.
Let me tell you a little story about my day, because you might find this entertaining. It's slightly tech related. I left the house.
That's ever stopped us before.
Yeah, sure. No, but this is kind of in the wheelhouse. I mean, 6-hour drive. It could be a 5-hour drive if everything goes great. I think the best I've ever done it has been maybe 4:40, 4:45, something like that. But it was snowing when I left. I had to stop and get gas. I wanted to stop and get a cup of coffee. Stop. It was early in the morning. I'm going to hit commuter traffic in the Lehigh Valley, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm listening to a podcast on my way over to the Dunkin' Donuts. And stop, get my coffee, get in the car, turn everything on, get ready to go. Here we go. Google Maps. And turn the podcast back on, and it's like coming through the car. Now, my wife's car, which is what I drove here, is not particularly advanced when it comes to stuff. It does have Bluetooth, but it doesn't do Bluetooth for audio, so I have to connect, and I can't do Bluetooth over USB either. My only option for my phones is to do line in, and she has a line in cable that I'm sure I bought 3 years ago, and and of course all my new phones, they require a dongle.
Yep.
And so I thought enough of this to bring back. First of all, I brought 3 phones. Each one of them. Hold on, it's worse. Well, I have my phone. So the reason for this is I have my phone my daily use phone, which today is the Huawei phone, which is obviously on my Google Fi SIM. I'm using that to play the audio, right? So I have a Huawei dongle. It's the only one that will work with this device. Like, I just wrote about this problem with USB. I have an iPhone that has the iPhone 10R that has the Google Fi data SIM in it, and I'm going to use that for the maps, like for Google Maps. One of the advantages of the iPhone when it comes to Google Maps is it supports bigger fonts and bold fonts, and those things actually come through in Maps, unlike on Android, right? So it actually looks better on the iPhone. So I have an iPhone dongle as well, like a Lightning to headphone jack. And then I have, just in case, because you never know, a Google Pixel 2 XL, sorry. And it requires its own dongle. The dongle for the Huawei and the Google phone cannot be used with the other phone. Like you have to use the right one for the right one. So when the audio came out garbled, I was like, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. I literally have to drive in order to get here on time to do this show. I have just enough time to do this. So I'm like, screw it. I'll just swap the phones out and I'll use the iPhone for the audio and the Huawei for the thing. Well, it was garbled coming out of the iPhone as well. And that meant it wasn't the dongle. It wasn't the phone. It could be the stereo or it could be the cable. And now I have 6 hours and I have no audio. And I'm like, I literally considered going home. I'm like, I can't be in the car this long. And I know that like a Best Buy doesn't open till 10. So I have 3.5 hours for that. Or maybe I could find a gas station somewhere and I could find a cable, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, screw it. I'm going to have to just do that. Like, that's going to be my drive. It's going to be terrible. Or I guess I could put the phone up on the dashboard and crank it and maybe hear it over the road noise. I don't know. I was listening to the podcast. So it's like, it's not music, it's audio, like speech. And, I just, for the heck of it, as I got on the highway, I put it back on, and for a second it kind of bleeped in normally. So I figured out, like, if I screw around with the cable, like, sometimes it would work fine. I spent the entire 6 hour in the car holding and massaging that cable so that every time it flitted out, I would get the audio to come back in, and it would last for some amount of time and then do it again. And that was what my drive was like. It was fantastic.
Well, I got nothing. I was gonna say, well, maybe technology could fix it, but
well, I didn't have a lot of time. I wanted to stop and get a new cable, but again, I didn't want to be. I can't be late for this. So, sometime today or tomorrow, whenever this weekend, when I'm stuck in the snowstorm here in Boston, because again, great timing, Paul.
Why don't you just put it on like speakerphone and turn it up really loud?
Because it's over the road noise. It's just loudness. You know what I mean? Like I guess I would have. I probably would have anyway. I thought about putting it into the. Jamming the phone into the visor or whatever, because it's like kind of close to my face. Anyway, so I guess I'll be going to a Best Buy if I can or something. But it was just like, seriously, like, can you imagine, like, it's like getting on a plane and you don't have the dongle.
Oh, yeah, Paul. It's like getting on a plane to Amsterdam when you just bought an adapter, and Paul assured me that it would work with my headphones. And then
wait a minute. Seriously? Seriously?
Do you not?
That's not exactly.
It was close enough. But I mean, I got onto the plane and I couldn't plug my Bose headphones into the thing.
I was like, man, that's too bad.
He's like, let me know if you need anything.
I can't hear you because the noise canceling on these things is amazing.
Yep.
I guess I got to put a headphone on too, but I don't want to drive.
Yeah.
Headphones.
I totally understand that. All right, we'll let you go. You got anything else going on in Boston before the snow arrives?
Just so this afternoon, probably sometime in about an hour from now, I'm going to do a. You probably know more about this tonight. Have you ever done this kind of thing, like an Instagram live?
I know what you're doing, but I've never done it. So you were.
So the first one will probably be awkward and sad, but the point of it is to kind of get going on this. So it's sort of a take on the Ask Paul thing. Although I guess I can't. It's not like I can expound on some 18-minute video or something. So I can give short responses. I think I can do short video responses, so I'll probably do at least one of those. And then I was told there are stickers, which I
can't wait to see what you choose.
Exactly. Is there a unicorn sticker?
What about a pina colada?
Really, yeah. Yes. Not really a sticker guy, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. My daughter could give you some advice. She gets the stickers all the time.
We should get her on there. That she'd probably be good. In fact, maybe she could handle the stickers like as if it were a soundboard, and I could just do the answer stuff.
She would. Well, you'd end up with a lot of unicorns because that's all that she cares about right now.
Yep.
That's it. All right, folks. Well, that wraps it up for today. Hopefully, Paul will be back home on Monday or Tuesday or maybe Wednesday, depending on how much snow they get. But have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you right back here next time.